Hey everybody, it's me, Greg, and guess what? I am up for Most Entertaining Online Personality at the South by Southwest Gaming Awards, and it would mean the world to me if you went and voted for me. Of course, every time we win one of these things, it's a win for Kinda Funny, and it's a win for you because we get to go there and be like, hey, people who've never heard of us, guess what? People like us, and everybody goes, who are you? And they go, maybe I want to be a best friend, or they're jerks, and they say, we'll stay away from everybody. So if you go to kindafunny.com, SXSW, and vote Greg Miller for Most Entertaining Online Personality, I would take it as a personal favor that I will never, ever be able to repay you for.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 56 of the Kinda Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the coolest dudes in video games, Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller.
It's good to be here with you today. Hello.
And now, for the first time ever on this show, we have Mega Ran.
Thank you. Hello.
I'm really excited about this. This is going to be a good one. This one's going to be worth $1. I can feel it. If you believe that, well, you would already know that you went over to patreon.com/kindafunny. You gave us $1 to get this thing early, or you could have went to youtube.com/kindafunnygames and got it for free.
Patreon.com/kindafunnygames.
Did I mess up?
You did. Damn it. I'm just being clear.
Okay.
It's been a long month of promoting the animated series link.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's hard to switch gears.
One day I'll get that stuff. Anyway, this is a weekly show where we talk about video games and stuff that we like. We're going to start this one off right. I want to talk about you, Mega Ran.
Hey.
Who are you? What is your history and why are you here?
All right. Wow. So we're going to go from birth to like now.
To now, yeah.
All right. Well, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. West Philadelphia, born and raised. In front of the TV is where I spent most of my days. So basically just, growing up a fan of video games for a long, long time and a fan of hip hop at the same time and just watching both of them rise around the same time and me just really wanting to get caught up in that both of those cultures. And I started writing music, I guess as a teenager. And it took me maybe 10 years of writing music until I figured, let me try to inject some of those games that I love into the music. And I made this album called Mega Ran in 2007. And we talked about Mega Man a little bit on it. And then Capcom heard it and
Immediately shut you down.
And
They're like, under no circumstance.
They embarrassed me. No, they were okay with it. And they decided to let me keep making music. And they, encouraged me to make more Mega Man tunes. And so I did that. Then I went to other, franchises that I really loved, Final Fantasy, all kinds of stuff, River City Ransom, mostly retro things. So I think I've then fallen into a bit of a niche or subgenre called nerdcore, also another called chiptune. So I put those together, and what I call it is chip hop. It's a little bit of both, Chiptune, hip hop, chip hop. That's my thing. Yeah, so right now, let's see. I am in San Francisco on a tour with my good friend Richie Branson, game developer and amazing rapper. He and I work on projects together. We put out an album together called Ghouls and Ghosts this past Christmas. And we're just out promoting it, hanging out and rapping and meeting people and driving mostly. Mostly driving.
Well, yeah, so what does the tour look like then? Like,
what does it look like? This current tour? I mean, it's been just into a city for a day, usually, playing a show, getting to maybe eat some food and shake hands with people that are in the town. And then we play a great show and usually we have to go to the next city. Fortunately, the Bay Area shows are kind of close together and we get to kind of hang out in one general area. And we'll be in San Francisco, we'll be in San Jose, we'll be in Sacramento. And it's usually playing a show, eating something terrible late at night, and then heading back home and getting a little bit of rest, and then getting up, getting on the internet, handling all of our, various clerical duties, and then getting back into a venue and doing it again.
Now, that's the thing. You're talking about these clerical duties and these emails you have to do. I would assume you have thousands of people who do these things for you. You're a big-time rapper, traveling. So for like a tour, how is that all on you? Are you negotiating spots and figuring out like where you're going point to point?
I mean,
how the hell do you do that?
You save money if you do it yourself, You don't have to pay anybody. So as long as I can do it at a pretty good high level, I think I've continued to do it. So I tour manage, I book the dates, I organize the rental vehicle and how we're going to get there, organize where we're going to sleep. And I can do it in my sleep now at this point.
Wow, really?
I've done it for 10 years now. So I don't know. But when it gets to a point where I just absolutely can't handle it, then I'll bring in a tour manager. I've done a couple of tours with managers and it's amazing. However, at the end, they're standing there with their hand out like, all right, I made that happen for you. Now compensate me. And it's like, I think I can do that. So I try it, and it usually works out well.
Now you said you've been doing it for 10 years, right? You've been out there doing all this stuff, shaking it. So what I think you glossed over that I love about your story, right, is that you were a teacher, right?
Oh yes, I didn't even say that. Yeah,
it wasn't like you're like, I've been making music now. I'll put video games in it. I'm a huge internet star.
Oh yeah. There was the teacher part is a huge path on the road to wherever I am now, and I taught for 6 years, mostly middle school, and I had a great time doing it. I started off as a substitute. And dealing with middle school kids who, are 12 going on 30. I think they know everything. I think it helped me a lot with my performances because you got to be able to improvise. You got to be able to change on the fly. And ultimately, standing on a stage and standing in front of 30 kids is the same because you have to make them believe in you and what you're doing. And if the kids don't believe in you, they see right through you and it's over. You lose them and you never get them back. So I was kind of a mean teacher though. It was.
See, I don't believe that for a goddamn second.
Everybody says that. No, I was mean. Oh man, I was mean. You have to be with 12-year-olds.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna drive there naturally because that's the thing. I remember when we first met and we immediately found that we're brothers in arms. We're friends. Like there's a connection here. God dang it! And you've been a big supporter of Kind of Funny, all those things. But you're always so soft spoken, so easy going, so down to help us out and do this. These kids would have wrecked you.
Yeah, they would have. You can't. You absolutely have to put on a different face. They say you don't smile until Christmas when you're a teacher. You don't smile. You don't tell a joke until you've had them for 3 months or so.
So did you feel like you were putting on an act every day?
Absolutely, absolutely. You don't smile. You're like, get in there, sit down, works on the board, do it. Don't bother me. And you have to do that every day until they get in the structure where they're like, oh my God, he might kill us, and once they think you might kill them, then you can tell a joke and they're like, should we laugh? and then, so I think you gotta build a level of trust and structure before you can, divert from it.
Have you, I'm curious, I actually meant to ask you this, I think several times ago that I saw you, like in your teaching career, since it was some time ago now, these kids are kind of coming up. I mean, they're adults now, a lot of them. Have you encountered any of them as fans of yours? Like, have you heard from any of them? Like, maybe you don't remember them, but like I had you and
I absolutely have. It's strange because you say that like they're adults, and I was in Salt Lake, and the guy who put the show together was like, I think I know one of your students, like one of your old students, moved from Phoenix to Salt Lake, and I know him, and I couldn't remember the name, and but I was like, that's very possible. Like these kids are grown now.
Yeah.
They could have moved to different places. They could have jobs, and I knew them when they were 12, 13, 14. So it's strange, but it's cool. Like I'll see comments pop up on YouTube and they're like, hey, Mr. J, good to see you're still at it. Like students of mine. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I went to the studio once and a former student of mine was in the studio, like making music. And I'm like, wow. And he's like, yeah, Mr. J, you showed me how to do this. And I was like, what? I'm officially old, like teenagers are growing up and becoming, adults and somehow being influenced by what I do, which is kind of cool and scary, but I love it though. It's great to see those kids doing okay.
So you're acting tough to these kids, but then you're also making the music. I mean, did there come a convergence point where they all discovered like, wait a second?
Yep, absolutely. Wait, Mr. Jarbo is Mega Ran. And they would come into school and be like, hey, Mega Ran or something like that, and I'm like,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What are you talking about? You got detention, But yeah, absolutely, they would find stuff. So then I eventually had to just insert it into the classroom as much as I could. I would show them videos of mine. I would then get into even running songs by them. Like, hey, I got this new song I'm working on. Here, just listen to it, and they enjoyed it. Or if they didn't, they're like, Mr. J, this is kind of weak, People need something to dance to. This isn't danceable, like they'll give me good feedback. I mean, from the mouths of babes. I mean, they're going to be very honest, and that gives you a different perspective on your music that you don't necessarily think of. So I would run music by them. We would do Freestyle Fridays where I would rap for them. If they all got a really good score on their test, I would do some raps for them. So I would have them all hold up their items that they had in their desk, and I'd go around the classroom just rapping about them, pencils, pens, whatever, and they enjoyed that. They had a blast. Or I would use their spelling words into the rhyme, and they loved it.
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
You'd be the coolest teacher.
So one of the things I was actually just talking to Nick about my best friend back home. Ramon is a bassist and like a studio musician and doing stuff, and he's finally playing with this. this guy next week on Seth Meyers or whatever, and like
wow.
and is like finally he's stuck with it, and he like and things are happening for him now, and we're like real proud of him. I'm curious what that transition was from not really being able to make a living off of it to making a living off of it, because I played music since a very young age too, and I always tell Ramon, and you're really the similar person, where I'm like, you guys are keeping the dream alive for all of us who grew up playing music and wanted to be rock stars or whatever, and like just
Yeah.
we were good, but like you right place, right time, and all that kind of stuff. So what is it like to be able to quit that job and make a living, or be comfortable, be able to tour and do all these kinds of things? I'm not saying you're like the fucking U2 or Muse out there, but you're.
I'm saying he is like
I am.
YouTube.
You can say that. I am. No, honestly, it's scary as hell, but I think it just happened to, like you said, it's just a bunch of right things happening at the right time, and all the timing is just what helped it. And then, it's very scary, but I think it was something that I felt like I had to do. Like I was pretty young still, didn't have kids or a wife at the time, so I figured I can take a chance and step out and try to make this happen, and I can always go back and be a teacher. So it was just a matter of finding, just I felt like a number of signs were in the air. Things would happen. I made this album Black Materia, and then Game Informer profiled it, and then I was playing at PAX and a lot of really bigger shows, and I thought, well, maybe I can do this, and I just decided to step out, and that was 5 years ago, and it's just been working out. But yeah, I mean, people say like, you're living the dream, and I think I am, and it's I don't take it for granted any second. Like I feel like I may need to go to Walmart, and filling out an application or something, but I don't know. But right now it's going well, knocking on wood, and yeah, it's been great. But it's all a matter of just taking those opportunities and taking those signs that because I think everybody gets it. Once in a while you'll get a moment, but you're like, oh, I'm afraid, oh, I can't take this day off of work to go meet this record producer guy or whatever, and I think it's just taking those chances, and sometimes they work out.
So was Capcom coming to you kind of your first moment when you were like, okay, I can really do this? Because I remember when you first put up Grow Up, and I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs ever.
Wow.
And then I listened to that, and this was before the Mega Ran album even came out. And then you had another album before that.
I did, The Call.
The Call, yes.
And so it's much more of a traditional hip-hop album, no video games, things about that. But it was just a story of a guy who had come from a city and, had dreams of fulfilling his calling in life. That's what The Call was all about. And I didn't know what that call was, and then things started getting clearer after making that record. But yeah, I think it was IGN who was the first. It's probably IGN's fault that Capcom scared the hell out of me, because they posted it, and next thing you know, I had an email on MySpace the very same day, and they're like, so what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh boy. Naturally you think like this is something that's going to ruin you, and but they were fortunately fans of what I was doing, and they thought it was well done, they thought it was tasteful, they thought it was appropriate. But I didn't think that was the big break, because they didn't offer me a job or anything like that. So it was more or less, we'll allow this to happen, and that was great. And it did a whole lot for me, and continues to. And they didn't have to do that. So that's definitely one of those first signs you see where you're like, maybe you're onto something. And now you have to, have the courage to just kind of keep pushing, trying something else, and until things stick.
So I remember with Capcom, they've been really good about stuff. Then you did Mega Ran 9 after that, and then after that you did the Marvel vs. Capcom 2,
on the vinyl hip hop thing they did
stuff. And that was awesome. But how has it been kind of balancing the random versus the Mega Ran stuff?
Oh, that's been tough. And I've had conversations about it. There's a new song on the new album called The Meeting where Mega Ran meets random. And we discuss what, the guy who came from Philadelphia who makes hip hop songs about, life and growing up, and the guy who raps about in the voice of a video game character, and can they both coexist? And I think that they can, and I've finally discovered a happy medium where I can make songs like Infinite Lives on the new record, where the concept is video game related, but applying it to everyday life so that everyone can understand it, realize it. So it took 10 years for me to realize that these guys can live together side by side and on the same record. Because what I would do is try to alternate, like, all right, here's a random album, here's a Mega Ran album, here's a random album, here's a Mega Ran album. And the Mega Ran albums would get so much more attention, probably because of the games that they were, sampling from. So I just tried to find a way where I could inject my own life story, my own lessons and things like that into a track that may also, reflect those video games that I grew up playing.
So where did Black Materia fall then?
So Black Materia was like the second project after the first two Mega Man albums. So there was Mega Ran and Mega Ran 9. And then Black Materia was 2011. And that was the one that kind of took off for me. And I remember one day getting a phone call from a friend who said, "Hey, you're on the first page of Reddit." And back in 2011, I didn't even know what that meant. So I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "That means it's a big deal that people are talking about this." And I was like, "What, really?" And then I got a phone call from PlayStation Magazine that day and Game Informer. I did a bunch of big interviews, and then had a big tour right after that. And then MC Chris asked me to join him on tour, and we did a 3-month tour of the entire U.S. And I think so. It was definitely the Black Materia album that kind of jumped it off, and I didn't realize. I knew Final Fantasy VII was special to me, but I didn't necessarily know it was, as special to everyone else.
Yeah, no, I love that album so much. Tell the people what that project is.
So Black Materia is me taking the Final Fantasy VII Nobuo Uematsu soundtrack and then remixing it, sampling it, playing additional chords over it, and retelling the story of Final Fantasy VII as if through my eyes of Cloud and from beginning to end. And it became a pretty epic thing. Like, it was just a really big project that we spent a lot of time on. But I listen to it now and I'm like, ugh, I kind of cringe because I didn't know as much about mixing, mastering, or things that I know now. And I'm like, I need another crack at that album, which is why, ding, announcement, we're going to be releasing a vinyl version of Black Materia later this year, which will be the songs remixed and remastered.
It's the reboot.
The reboot.
Final Fantasy VII reboot.
Yeah, it's the reboot. Something like that. No.
One of the things that I love about you, both with Random and Mega Ran, is kind of your adherence to something that you find more in like prog rock or space rock or something, which is like the idea of a concept album. And that's like, and you find that in hip hop, but it's definitely not as common as it is in some and a lot of rock genres.
Yeah.
Does that lend itself towards like the fact that you were really sampling Mega Man? I mean, that makes more sense at that time, but even with something like Black Materia, I mean, is that an easier way for you to write? Is that the way you want to like release your records typically? And are there like games that you're identifying in your mind that you would like to tackle from a thematic standpoint like that?
Oh, absolutely. This is something that I have more fun creating in that way. Going through a character, going through a stage, going through a full concept and fleshing it out through a whole record. So yeah, there's a lot of other franchises that have been on my radar for the
Mario
longest.
Golf.
Oh, fuck, if you do a Mario Golf.
I was thinking, Arkanoid, I don't know, but Mario Golf, wow. But yeah, BioShock is one I would do.
Oh yeah, love it.
Man, Mass Effect, Uncharted, games that I really, really dig from the current generation that I would think about it. But I feel like I'm kind of rooted in retro.
I was going to say like Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden. I would love to see you mess with some of these.
Ninja Gaiden would be cool too. And it has great music. So there are some retro franchises, but a lot of my friends wind up doing them. There's a Zelda album by Doc Ock he did for Ocarina, which is amazing. And, I would have done something like that. Or, there's a bunch of other ones. Chrono Trigger has been done. Richie Branson has done that. Matter of fact, where's Richie? Is he in there? Richie, come here for a sec.
It's like getting into a space shuttle here.
He's climbing all around. Richie, say what's up to the people.
Yo.
What's good? Oh, yeah. It's Richie Branson in the building, on tour with Mega Ran. I make video games and I rap, so it's kind of an interesting combination.
What games do you make?
I program in Unity. I'm sort of good at. I'm gonna get on my knees if that's
fine.
okay.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm
You're
a
praying.
programmer.
You're praying at the altar.
Yeah, I'm praying to the.
Cheat to the camera.
Okay.
You can always do this. You can move the mic with you. Do wherever you want. Yeah.
Yeah, so I program in Unity 3D, C# and JavaScript, and started making video games after I figured rapping about them was sort of like I wanted to do a little bit more, so I started making the games. And so I just put out it's a short little Flappy Bird type game, but I put out a game making fun of Meek Mill and Drake's beef.
I love this.
And it's called
I am so all about this.
Yeah.
Is it? Where can I get this
It's
right
at
now?
meekymill.com. I haven't dropped it on mobile, so you have to play it from like a laptop or
Okay.
a desktop.
I'm gonna email myself then.
Desktop. But yeah, it's called Meeky Mill. It's been on a lot of hip hop and on gaming blogs and whatnot, and you guys should play it because it's so hard. I made the game and I haven't beat it, and the objective is simple. You just have to make $1 million without catching L's from Drake and 50 Cent. It's easy. You
So
know?
no one can win because that's impossible.
It's hard,
for me to
yeah.
know.
I made it and I'm like, okay, I can beat this. And I got 300 and I rage quit. So if you look at all the Let's Play videos on it, like people are just rage quitting. I've seen a guy throw his headphones like, you know, and it's just like, wow. It almost feels good. Like I birthed this rage, you know?
Yeah, you are ruining people's time. Their
Yeah.
free time you're ruining.
So one guy was like, yo, whoever made this is a dirt bag. I'll
Put it on
take
the
that.
box.
Yeah. You know, but it's just such a pleasure. You know, Ran is like one of my main influences on the music side. And I remember when I first reached out to him to collab, you know, I just started really getting into the nerdcore scene. I originally was a professional music producer working for like Sony and Def Jam. And as I started to want to do the artistry myself, I sort of realized that I didn't want to go down that path because it just didn't feel natural. So like they tried to put me in this sort of pop rap flow rider type thing. And I was doing that, but it just felt like I felt so dirty. Like I'd take 3 showers a day. And then I was like, you know what? Let me rap about the stuff I like. So I was on the toilet one day playing, I was taking a little break from gaming and I heard this awesome theme music from Star Wars, The Old Republic, the MMO. And I heard it and I was like, you know what? I got to sample that and make a beat out of it. And then, you know, my first mixtape was born. It was called The Cold Republic. And, you know,
Damn.
from there, yeah.
That's awesome.
So from there, you know, I was like, whoa, you know, there's people who do this really well. And Mega Ran was like the guy. So I hit him a nervous email like, hey, can I maybe send you a beat or something? And the rest was history from there.
That's awesome. Where can people find your music?
RichieBranson.com or OtakuGang.com. That's my little thing I'm starting now. And play Meeky Mill, MeekyMill.com. It's out there, and it's so terribly. Look, I didn't do any QA. I spent the week working on it. So, you know, it may be a little buggy, you know, but it's cool. You know, it's fun.
I got 350,000 on it today, so I'm actually better than the creator. Of
Yeah, yeah. I looked at him like, yo, how did you get 350,000 coins, dude? Like,
It's
Yo.
so hard, but I did it.
yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
So that's cool, man. But
Awesome.
it's just good to be here.
Yeah. Definitely go check him
Not
out.
a problem. Meeky Mill, Richie, Meeky Mill.
Kevin, did you put all those links on screen?
Go ahead and write it down in your
Write it
notes.
down. Put- I want 'em- I want all those links on screen, Kevin. All right, fine.
Mega Ran.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got some questions for the audience here.
All right.
Real quick, too,
Bring 'em
I
on.
want to call out to our audience that you guys are filming a tour documentary. And your cameraman's been stuck in the door. You are allowed to cross in front of our camera.
Oh, feel
our
free to
audience
cross
is
over.
open.
Whatever you
Don't
need to
knock
do.
down the camera. There you go. But you can
There we
walk
go.
in front of us and get your shots, and don't worry about it. These are all best friends.
Get in the
No,
shot.
you're good.
It don't
Yeah,
matter.
there you go. Oh my God, Inception.
We have broken the wall.
Bob Harold wants to know, what have you been playing recently?
Witcher 3 all day long, outside of Meeky Mill to this morning, all day long. But Witcher 3 is amazing. I'm a little late to the party. I just got a PS4, and that was the first game I bought for it. So I love it. So great.
How far into it are you?
I'm at like the Bloody Baron, so I'm not
Oh,
far at all.
wow. Okay.
But it's really good. But, yeah, you know, kind of busy touring.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean,
Planning
oh,
stuff.
wow, like that. It's rare that I meet somebody who's super into
casual
Witcher.
gamer.
Yeah.
Wow, ever play a
All
game?
right, Cash.
Go back to meekymills.com. No, but it's like, no, I love that quest. You know what I mean? And it's like creepy, and it just gets worse and worse the more you play it.
Oh man, it's so good. So yeah, that and Rocket League all day long.
Tyler Truman wants to know, Mega Man or Mega Man X?
Mega Man, sorry. I know that everyone, everywhere, except Colin, everyone is like, Mega Man X is better. No, not to me. I'm
insane.
sorry.
They're
crazy.
insane.
All the power-ups. I mean, come on. If you put those power-ups in original Mega Man, the game would be so easy. Come on. If you could dash and jump off walls, the game would be simple. So, classic Mega Man.
Yeah, X,
All
X2,
day.
X3, X4, good games, great games. But they're not Mega Man 3 or
They're
Mega
not
Man
the
2,
classics,
or Mega
I'm
Man
sorry.
6 or Mega Man 9. Get the fuck out.
Victor13
You feel me.
wants to know, are you working on any voiceover gigs currently?
Kinda, but I can't talk about them.
That's the best type of answer.
Sorry.
Ghetto Nerd Society wants to know, have you ever thought about getting into game development?
Perfect name, by the way. I love it. I haven't thought about it, but riding with Richie is totally making me want to get into it. So, in between the many hats I wear, yeah, I would love to. I would absolutely love to. That's something that it's crazy because we were talking about it. It's something that looks so foreign, when you immediately look at how to create a game and you're like, I could never learn that. But just give it a little bit of time and effort. I think you can make things that would surprise you. So yeah, I think being inspired by Richie and watching, the things he's done has made me wish, like, man, I wish I had done that. But it's not too late.
Yeah.
Final question. Michael Gulliver wants to know, how or what inspires you to create the music that you make? And what is your process?
Is that a who or what inspires me, or how or what?
It says who or what.
Okay. All
But
right.
it can be how. It can be a how.
It could be how. Gosh, it's going to sound really stupid and corny, but life inspires me, honestly. Like, just meeting new people, hearing about their stories, where they're from, what inspires them, what's going on in the world, the news, mostly a lot of comic books and games, but that would be the obvious answer. But honestly, it's just life, like meeting new people and just from different walks of life and their journey and experiencing that, and just through talking to people. And so I think it's really my job because it enables me to meet so many different people. And I think that's what inspires me to keep creating cool stuff. What was the rest of that question? Was there more to that?
Oh, that was it.
Michael-
Well, what's your process?
Oh, process of like making a song is pretty annoying to most people. It would be me playing a beat 75 times, probably over and over again until words come to me. And but what I did recently, I did a Shovel Knight rap for our Patreon, patreon.com/bitsandrhymes, by the way. And for the Shovel Knight rap, what I did was I wrote out the entire story of Shovel Knight the best that I knew. And then I circled rhyming words. And then I moved words around. This is a process that I've never done before when it came to writing a song. But I took the beginning, middle, and end, took the rhyming words that I liked, circled them, and then I worked on the song from there. And I had never done anything like that. So it's a fun way to tell a story. And that normally, though, it's just playing a beat constantly. I make sure to revise. That's a huge thing, is to never put out your first draft because it's usually crap. And I learned that from college, mostly from writing classes. But I've put out a lot of crap. And so yeah, it's just mainly just I think giving it the time for the second and third drafts and letting the good stuff kind of shine in those. That's
great.
really that's the process.
There you go.